You will lose your head in 10 minutes. Not metaphorically, physically. Steel. Straw. A crowd waiting for the sound your body makes when it stops being royal. And it will happen fast. Minute 10. The courtyard smells of damp straw and iron. You step into it, knowing you will not step out. The scaffold is smaller than you imagined. Smaller than a throne. Smaller than a ballroom. Smaller than the space your name once filled. You are not dragged. You walk. Your back is straight. Your hands are steady. That steadiness is deliberate. If you tremble, they win. If you crumble, they win. You will not give them that. The crowd is quiet. Not sympathetic. Not hostile. Observing. You kneel. The wood bites through silk. You adjust your skirts. You place your hands neatly before you. 10 minutes. That is how long it will take to erase you. If you want history that doesn't soften the fall, subscribe now. Because we are staying until the blade drops. Behind you, the executioner waits. He is French. That detail was framed as mercy. You almost smile at that. Mercy would have been absence. Minute 9. You are aware of your neck. Not metaphorically, physically. The air feels colder against it. Exposed. Vulnerable. You tuck your hair further beneath your coif. You will not make this messy. You remember the first whisper. Adultery. You remember laughing when you heard it. You remember thinking it was clumsy. Then the second whisper. Incest. That word did not make you laugh. That word made the room recoil. You see George's face in your mind. Confused. Angry. Then pale. You remember the moment his name was spoken beside yours. You remember the silence that followed. Not outrage. Acceptance. Disgust spreads faster than truth. The executioner shifts his stance. The wood creaks behind you. You feel how close he stands. 9 minutes become 8. Minute 8. You rise slightly to address the crowd. Your voice does not shake. You thank the king. You pray for him. You say you have always obeyed him. You do not defend yourself. You do not argue innocence. Because this is not a courtroom. This is a conclusion. You see faces you recognize. Men who bowed to you. Women who copied your gowns. They watch you as if you are already past tense. You think of Henry. How he once watched you dance. How he once defied Rome for you. How he once called you indispensable. You wonder how indispensability evaporates so quickly. Somewhere beyond these walls, Jane Seymour waits. She is quieter than you. Softer. Safer. She will give him what you did not. A son. You feel no hatred. Only clarity. You were not executed for sin. You were executed for failure. The executioner clears his throat. 8 minutes becomes 7. You lower yourself again. You fold your hands. You close your eyes. And time begins to tighten. Minute 7. You hear it before you remember it. The sound, not the blade. The crowd, a low murmur that lifts, then collapses. You weren't allowed to see George's execution. They told you that was mercy. But you heard it. The crowd outside the tower. The way noise thickens when something irreversible happens. You remember standing in your chamber. You remember the distant swell of voices. You remember counting heartbeats. Then, a collective intake of breath. Not screaming. Not chaos. Just a sharp, unified gasp. You knew. You didn't need confirmation. Your brother was gone. And the accusation died with him. But the stain did not. 7 minutes becomes 6. Behind you, The executioner adjusts the sword in his hand. You hear the faint slide of metal against leather. It sounds the same. You wonder if George heard that sound too. You wonder if he flinched. You decide he did not. He was proud. You hope he stayed proud. Minute 6. The trial room returns to you in fragments. Not the speeches, the eyes. You remember standing alone. You remember how large the room felt, how high the ceiling seemed, how small your voice sounded when it echoed. They listed the names, man after man, dates, rooms, times. You remember searching their faces, looking for shame, finding none. You remember the moment the word incest was repeated publicly. It felt heavier the second time. You remember how people shifted in their seats, how even your supporters leaned back slightly. Disgust is powerful. Disgust does not need proof. It only needs suggestion. You defended yourself, calmly, carefully. You did not shout. You did not cry. You thought composure would save you. It did not. The verdict was read too quickly. You knew then that this was not about truth. It was about ending you cleanly. 6 minutes become 5. You inhale. Your breathing feels too loud in your ears. You wonder if the crowd can hear it. Minute 5. The tower cell at night. That is what presses in now. The cold stone. The damp air. The way silence stretched between footsteps. You remember touching the wall, testing its solidity, as if you could push it aside. You remember asking for writing materials. You remember asking for the king. You remember asking to see your daughter. No one answered directly. No one needed to. The absence of response was the answer. You remember realizing that this was not a misunderstanding, not a temporary confinement, not a negotiation. It was a preparation. Somewhere, a scaffold was being built while you waited. Somewhere, a French swordsman was being summoned. You were told it was a kindness. You almost laughed when you heard that. Kindness would have been exile. Kindness would have been silence. This was precision. 5 minutes become 4. Behind you, the executioner shifts again. Closer now. You feel it through the boards. You lower your head slightly. You do not cry. Not here. Not in front of them. The crowd is quieter than before. Waiting. You feel the weight of their anticipation. You realize something unsettling. They will go home after this. They will eat. They will sleep. They will speak of you in past tense. And you will become a story. 4 minutes tighten around your throat. Minute 4. Anger finally arrives. Not loud. Not explosive. Sharp. You think of Henry. Not the king. The man who once could not breathe without you in the room. You remember how he used to watch you when you spoke. How he leaned forward. How he smiled when you challenged him. You remember how he swore you were the future. You remember the letters, the promises, the hunger in his words. And now, he is not here, not even to watch you fall. That is the insult. Not death. Absence. You are not worth witnessing. You feel heat crawl up your spine. You think of how he broke a church for you, split a kingdom for you, and when you failed to produce a son, he split you instead. 4 minutes become 3. You feel the crowd shifting, restless now. The anticipation has thickened. You imagine Henry at breakfast. You imagine him calm. You imagine him relieved. That thought stings more than the accusation ever did. You clench your hands slightly, just enough to feel something real. The executioner adjusts his footing again. You hear the faint scrape of boot against wood. Closer. Always closer. Minute 3. Elizabeth. The name pierces through everything. You see her small hands, her sharp eyes. You remember holding her for the first time. You remember how certain you were that she would secure your place. You remember convincing yourself that a daughter was enough. You remember the disappointment that flickered across Henry's face. He tried to hide it. He did not succeed. You wonder what they will tell her. You wonder if she will be told that her mother was a monster. You wonder if she will be told that you were unfaithful. You wonder if she will ever know that you fought. 3 minutes shrink into 2. You want to cry now. Not for yourself. For her. You want to see her once more. You want to tell her to survive. You want to tell her to be harder than you were. You swallow the urge. You will not let your final expression be grief. You will let it be steel. The executioner steps closer. You can feel the shadow of him behind you. The crowd is silent now. They sense proximity. Minute 2. Jane Seymour. You did not hate her. You barely noticed her at first. Quiet. Composed. Careful. You see her now in your mind, standing somewhere safe, dressed modestly. Hands folded. Waiting. She will walk the corridors you walked. She will sit where you sat. She will kneel where you knelt. But not here. Not on straw. Not in front of a blade. You realize something cold. She does not need to destroy you. Your destruction is her invitation. You feel no jealousy now. Only clarity. You were passion. She is stability. You were fire. She is compliance. You were unforgettable. She will be safe. 2 minutes become 1. Your heart is pounding now. You cannot slow it. You try. You inhale deeply. The air tastes metallic. You adjust your position again, making it easier for him. You are not afraid of pain anymore. You are afraid of hesitation. You hear him lift the sword slightly. The air shifts. The crowd leans in. 1 minute, and it will be over. Minute 1. The world narrows. Not metaphorically. Physically. The courtyard shrinks. The crowd dissolves into blur. All that exists now is breath. Wood. Steel. You hear your heartbeat. It is no longer steady. It is frantic. You try to slow it. You cannot. The executioner steps fully into place behind you. You feel the displacement of air as he raises the sword. It is heavier than you imagined. You don't turn. You won't give them that. You press your hands flat against the boards. You lower your chin. You whisper one last prayer. Not for forgiveness. For speed. 50 seconds. The crowd is silent. So silent you can hear fabric shift. Someone coughs. Someone stifles it. You imagine Elizabeth again. You imagine her older. Stronger. Harder. You hope she survives this world better than you did. 40 seconds. The sword moves slightly. You hear it. A faint slide through air. You almost flinch. You force yourself still. You will not jerk. You will not scramble. You will not beg. You were crowned once. You will fall crowned. 30 seconds. Your knees ache. You barely feel them. Your neck feels impossibly exposed. You imagine the blade's path. You imagine the line it will cut. You imagine how clean it will be. You wonder if your body will know before your mind does. 20 seconds. The executioner calls out suddenly, "Bring me my sword." The words snap through the silence. You turn instinctively. Just slightly. A reflex. Human. The movement exposes your neck further. That was the trick. 10 seconds. You realize too late. The air changes. You hear the rush of steel slicing downward. It is faster than thought. There is no long arc, no theatrical swing, just velocity. Impact is not pain. It is pressure. A violent crack of force. A shock that splits sensation in two. For the smallest fraction of a moment. There is heat, then nothing. Your body collapses first. You do not feel it fall. Your head strikes the straw separately. The world tilts sideways. Sound distorts. A distant roar swells. The crowd exhaling as one. Some gasp. Some murmur. Some turn away. Your vision flickers. Straw. Boots. Sky. Then red. Not bright. Dark. Heavy. Your mouth tries to form something. It cannot. Light fractures. And then, silence. The executioner lifts your head, displays it. A confirmation. A conclusion. Your body is gathered quickly, placed into a plain chest meant for arrows. It is too small. It does not matter. The scaffold is swept. Fresh straw scattered. By afternoon, it will look ordinary. By evening, Jane Seymour will be closer to the crown. History will say it was swift. History will say it was merciful. History will say it was necessary. But you experienced it minute by minute. And it was not mercy. It was removal. If you want more immersive history, where power collapses in real time, subscribe now. Because next time, it won't be a queen. It will be someone you never expected.